I think many financial advisors, they focus on the technical aspect of things when I think 95% of being successful in this industry is relationships.
Absolutely.
And building trust.
That makes a difference. Like stuff you don't even think about, but it definitely makes a difference.
Sure. Even just the mention of going out there and not being on a Zoom call and being personal again. Yeah. That's something I read recently about, like, even say with realtors or whatever. The focus now through the downfall of the economy is to go back to how you started, doing those personal relationships, building the clients that you know, the relationships with them, and then moving forward from there. And then hopefully when this shakes itself out, you survived. And all these people have now trusted you because you didn't try to take advantage of them or disappear. Yeah.
When have y'all been downtown recently on weekends?
No.
I think people are still spending money.
Yeah.
People are definitely still
the
money,
restaurants are full.
Yeah.
People are still buying houses.
Do you think you're ever going to be financial advising with your Oculus on in the metaverse?
Oh, that's crazy to think about.
I don't know anything.
Well, you said younger, so
That's
people are
what's
coming
coming.
to you like, hey, what do you take Bitcoin? And, I think that's gone now.
Hey, man, can we have a virtual meeting in the metaverse?
Yeah, I mean,
that's coming.
If we need to adjust, we'll adjust, man. And thankfully, we've got some younger people on the team.
More so
how are you going to handle moves with that?
Oh, man.
You can move digital moves,
virtual
man.
move.
Yeah.
Virtual moves. Hopefully I can move. Obviously, after a number of years, you start to get, I'm sure you felt it a couple times, but you start to get a little bit of a burnout, and you have to kind of like recenter, reevaluate, and re-energize.
Yeah,
I've hit it, and I've only been in business 2 years. I hit it, about a year in. I just was doing so much, and I just kind of got wore out and had to really focus and recenter and like keep pushing. What do you do during those? Because I'm sure you've had them. What do you do during those times to like help you recenter and keep going?
Oh yeah, well I definitely felt it too when I moved here because I knew I had to start over 100% and grind and get out and network, the stuff I wasn't doing anymore as much in Colorado. So I've definitely had a couple different instances. I felt like, hey, I feel like quitting. I don't feel like doing this. Every entrepreneur, has those moments. I think it's thinking back to why we chose to do this in the beginning and the long game, and then the impact of what we do just continues to get me going. Just thinking about, like, give you an example of just some clients who have been able to help. We've had clients where their wife would have been left with, virtually nothing. And then me as a 23-year-old going over with a check for $800,000 to one of my friend's widows, like I'll just never forget that moment of being able to impact families. And I've already had to deliver 5 different death claims now at this point, for people that had life insurance with us, and then helping people retire and different things like that. It's just thinking about that every single day, the impact of what we do. That's really what keeps me going, and then helping people reach their goals and dreams through doing our business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think that's one of the tougher things about being an entrepreneur is you get so complacent and burnt out easily. 7-10 years in the business, there comes a wall, and many walls, and you'll find out you've hit one, you'll hit 12 others, and it's like, how do you get past that? And I resonate with that well, because when I moved here too, I was kind of like, I haven't had to paint or do any work in the last 2 years, so how do I just start doing it again? So that makes sense. And so do you have like a regimen that you stick to that kind of keeps you motivated? Do you do certain things in the morning, any type of ritual kind of things?
Definitely. I actually start my day by I'm about to finish up the Bible. So I have this app, the Bible app, that it's going through every single chapter in the Bible. So that's always how I start my day, is with God first. So
that's awesome.
And then it's just sticking to a schedule, because when you have the freedom, obviously, as an entrepreneur, you can do whatever you want. But, there's a lot of work that it takes to run a successful business. So.
Sure. That's why we started this podcast, because I really don't think people, especially in the last 2 years, see that. I think they all see, oh, hey, my buddy's a business owner. I'm going to start one too. It's like, man, there's a recession coming. Good luck with that,
For sure.
One of my main guys, he's been with me for 6 years. He's starting out on his own. I was like, God bless, dude. And I'll do what I can to help you, but it's not the right time. If you make it through it, though, you deserve that credit. And if you keep making it through it, then you keep deserving that credit. That's something that goes without missed. Longevity in business is a huge award. Like, that's something to say. If you've been in business 10 years doing the same thing, that's awesome. It takes a lot. Yeah,
for sure. So you talked about how you start your day. You start your day with God. How do you feel like it? So I'm a big believer in business. If you should really try to accumulate customers that really that believe in what you believe in. Like, you shouldn't dumb down what you believe in, just to gain customers. So, like, do you talk about God during your meetings? Do you bring like your religion up when you're trying to get customers? Are you afraid? Do you tiptoe around the subject, or do you bring your core beliefs to the table when you meet with your clients? Essentially, is what I'm asking.
Sure. I don't think I used to, but now I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't have gone very well.
Yeah.
In Denver.
Yeah.
Our values we're kind of different.
Yeah. I've been to Denver.
So is that the only reason you're able to do it here? Is just because of the type of people?
The culture?
I mean, there's every type of people moving here, obviously.
Yeah.
But I at this point, it's like, when you beg clients, or if they don't align, they're probably better suited to go somewhere else.
For sure.
If you don't align.
And I had this lady that was a little loopy today, or last night,
Same word.
that messaged me about moving something. And, like, every time I asked to see it, she was like going left field, like red flag, like, I don't even know if I'm going to move it, but I don't know if you can move it. I'm like, well, just show it to me and I can tell you. Like, just tell me a day I can come and see it.
Sure.
And I'll let you know if I – and then finally at the end I was like, you know what, we just might not be the right fit. Here's a couple companies that might work for you, and just send her on her way, because it's not worth the headache. Like, if I've asked you 5 times to let me see it, she initiated the message to me, and I asked you 5 times to let me come see it, or just send me a picture so I can let you know, like, how we prepare to move it. And you can't do that, then, just go on your own way, and we'll go our way. We got other clients we can service, and it's just not worth it.
That's a huge thing in business ownership. It's like being able to fire or not take a certain client. Not every client is
a good client.
Is your client.
Yeah.
That does resonate so much with everybody. And if you learn that, you'll be so much better off. I mean, vetting clients is just as important as vetting a hire, like, if not even more important.
That's how you keep your relationship alive. I feel like when I first started, I was doing any job we could, like anything that had a dollar sign attached to it, I'm there
For sure.
But now that I've like a little more I'm not seasoned. I'm not 12-year season or 10-year season, whatever. But now I'm more skeptical, and I'm more willing to, like, turn somebody down, and I feel like it's been huge to maintain our reputation.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've seen you do, Chris. Not that, we've done it well. We're working on it. But I've seen you basically, I call them, they're like swamp rabbit groupies. You've got like, because you did such a good job for people that align with you, they're raving fans. And that's obviously what we all want. We want our best referral partners should be our own clients.
For sure. It's about, I feel like a huge thing is about being authentic. Like, anybody that you know that probably meets me, they've probably seen me drink a beer, they've probably seen me cuss, they've probably seen me whatever, but that's just who I am. I'm a good person. My heart is good, but I don't sugarcoat, like, who I am as a person.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm very, like, what you see is what you get.
Well, and that's with any business. I think it's like you are really building relationships with people. So if you're not authentic, it's going to come through in some shape or form. And is it going to come through when you're waiting for that last check because you don't want it to, or is it going to come through at the end or during the job or something? So that's something somebody said to me about realtors. Even though there's so many realtors in the game, well, not every realtor pairs up with every buyer or seller.
Yeah. Sure.
So that really makes a difference. Is like, when you meet somebody, if they don't align with you, well, then you don't need to work with them.
Absolutely. So where's your next branch going to be, John?
The next branch will either be in Colorado or, promoting someone here to regional vice president. So probably first in Colorado, just because we have more established people that have been doing it longer that have all of their licenses.
Outside of the Denver area, or a second branch in the Denver area?
It would be in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like
there's
Westminster. Is that the name?
That is a suburb, northern suburb. So
Yeah.
probably like Aurora Tech Center area.
Okay.
And then the one we have right now is in Lakewood.
Okay.
So
nice. And then what happens when you open a new branch? Y'all just move to another state and open another branch, or y'all pretty settled here? And like what's your plan? Like, how do you open branches?
Sure.
Do you have to go there to open the branch to get it rolling, or can you do it virtually?
Good question. No, you can do everything virtually.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go there or anything like that. But, a lot of times to solidify relationships, you got to get to in person
for sure
to be realistic, or have events and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, Yeah, it's just about finding the right people, like we were just talking about, that fit our core values, that align, that are hungry and credible, that want to do it.
Nice. Sure. Cool. And so you said it takes 4 to 6 months to become a licensed financial advisor. How long does it take to become a VP?
It's not. There's no time requirement.
Is it just more test?
It's all production
Yeah.
based.
How many people and how many offices you have under you, or
you can we allow people the flexibility to kind of build a business the way that they want to do it. So like if people want to go just the advisor route, like the first promotion we had, he was focused on getting investment clients. So basically we said, hey, if you hit this assets under management total, then we'll promote you. And then other people more of like want to do it like we've done it, which is building a team and everything like that. So basically we have different requirements that are set. If you hit this and you're licensed, then you become a regional vice president.
Nice. And it's no further test. It's just assets under management.
Or building a team and everything like that. You can do it either way. So,
cool.
Yeah.
So you don't just offer financial services, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like, you've talked to me about budgeting, like coming in and helping me and my family budget.
Debt
solutions. Like what else? So you're not just a financial advisor. You're a financial, planner, whatever. And you can come in and do anything really kind of financial. Is that right?
Yeah, great question. So kind of the approach we take is we're always trying to add value to our clients and find solutions. So if we don't do something, we're going to help you find a trusted partner.
For sure.
And we like to team up with accountants. We like to team up with lawyers, mortgage brokers, payroll people, so CPAs. We can add as much value to our clients as possible. But yeah, we really are a one-stop shop because a lot of times people's financial plan, if they die prematurely or they're not properly protected via insurance and things like that, that's really going to mess up our nice financial plan that we came up with if something happens. And then to Ray's point earlier, a lot things are tight right now for a lot of people. So let's help them get out of debt. Let's help them set up a budget and everything like that and take control of their money too.
Yeah. Smart. Because especially like we were just saying with the bad market, let's help them figure out and build a base. So when it comes around, we can help them invest and we can be there for them for the other things. That makes sense.
So a lot of people on here that are listening, I assume will probably be business owners. Do you have any like hidden tricks and tips that you talk about, like as far as alleviating tax liability for business owners? Is there something that's like
John's the Marty Bird of Greenville.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like, like what kind of like what non-noticeable way would you suggest to like reduce tax liability, or is there one that or something along those lines?
Yeah, great question. So when you're a business owner, you don't get benefits provided for you like as if you're a W-2 employee at a big corporation and things like that. So there's so many different ways as a business owner that you can either put money away for yourself and your family and your business and get a tax write-off now, but you do pay taxes later.
Yeah.
Or we can set up vehicles to have a tax-free retirement. So it just depends on the person and their situation on what is best for them. But, give you an example, like we helped a doctor's group in Denver, and they were really far behind on retirement because they had to take out a bunch of student loans, and then they had a family and everything like that. Yeah. But we set up basically retirement plans for them and did some extra things that most financial advisors, I'd say, don't even know about, don't even offer. And it was able to reduce their tax bill by a couple $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And they put away that money for their retirement to catch up now versus that. So they're ecstatic.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would be too.
You might get a lot of business out of this podcast. Usually we like break down the business, but you might get more business than anything.
Well, and I will say though, it depends on someone's situation. So like if anyone does want to reach out, feel free to reach out and we'll do a complimentary and confidential consultation. We've got an app that in less than 5 minutes, it will look at your finances and then it will recommend good moves for you and your family or you and your business. And then we kind of go from there based on what people's priorities and goals are.
You're pretty squeaky clean, bro. I don't know what you're good at what you do. That's pretty impressive. I guess the only question, and I'll put you in the hot seat because I'm sure you get it a lot, Primerica. Most people thought of it back in the day as a pyramid scheme. If somebody came up to you and said that, what would you say now? It's a whole new company, so what would you say?
Sure, Ray. Well, how would you define a pyramid scheme? How would you define it?
It's not my criticism.
Well, you asked me to say what I would say, so
yeah,
I'll ask you a question.
He's already freaking won. Well, I mean, some people, I guess, get that notion that it was like a scheme as far as like people building, and then you're hiring people underneath you, and then you're just making money for nothing. But in your case, at least you're building, relationships with these people. You're not just passing them along to your trusted advisors or something and saying, hey, good luck, and then just pulling in their cash. You're there almost every step of the way. Sure. But what would you say to those people that are kind of like that were weary about the Primerica situation?
Yeah, so I would ask them that question that I asked you.
Yeah,
and then
ruined me.
A pyramid,
I wasn't ready for that.
A pyramid scheme is something that's actually illegal. It's like a Ponzi scheme or something like that, where there's no real products or services and money is just being passed around. And we've been around since 1977. We're a publicly traded company. A sub-company of Forbes Market Watch actually named us the most trusted life insurance company in North America recently. We're A+ rated. So I just like to ask people like, hey, if that's what you thought, don't you think the stock exchange would have figured that out? Don't you think FINRA or the SEC or the state insurance boards, if we truly were not legitimate, I think they would have figured it out by now.
Yeah, for sure. I think most of the people that say that anywhere are the people that tried to sign up and get money from it, didn't know how to do it at all, and then just flunked, and then they're like, fuck Primerica.
Well, let's address that, man. Let's address that. So like if y'all had a great personal trainer and they gave you all the steps, all the system, and then you didn't follow the diet, you didn't go to the gym, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, whose fault is it that you're out of shape?
Absolutely. It's yours.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, though, I'd say, sometimes people do come in with like you were talking about, when people start a business, often they are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. They're looking for something that will give them money for nothing. Unfortunately, a lot of people, even though they say they're skeptical of that, and it does take hard work, and you do have to deal with rejection. You got to deal with people, which people don't do what you want them to do often.
For sure.
So, and you got to get licensed and everything like that. Because I've yet to meet somebody who has that opinion, who actually got fully licensed, who followed the system, who says the same thing.
Well, I feel like if Primerica was a pyramid scheme, I don't feel like John would be with them so long. Have you been with Primerica your whole time?
All 10 years.
So I was at another financial company running their internship program in college, actually, and then I started doing this right out of college. So I'm about to be 32 next month, so it's 9 years.
Did you drop out of college for financial advising, or did you finish?
No, I finished.
Okay.
I finished.
Was your degree for that?
I did business administration and communication, so,
Do you feel like that helped you?
Not really.
Well, that's a good.
Do you need a college degree to be a financial advisor?
You do not.
Okay.
It's about the licenses.
So you don't even need a high school diploma.
Technically, there is people in our company that make good money that do not have a high school diploma.
That's awesome.
For the licensing, though, they don't require something like a GED.
It's cool. No, it's awesome.
As long as you pass the test that's set in place,
exactly,
you're good to go.
Exactly. So sometimes, obviously, like it's sometimes harder for people that haven't taken like a lot of tests in schools. But like a couple weeks ago, we had a kid, 18 years old, just right out of high school, that this is what he wants to do versus going the traditional route to college. And he passed, and he didn't know any of this stuff, at all. Like, because he's an 18-year-old.
He doesn't really know how to wipe his butt.
Right, exactly. But he still figured it out with our system. So
that's a good question too, because that's something that goes missed, is the whole college. And I went to college for business and economy and finances and didn't learn anything. I mean, I feel like I learned everything from being in business and just figuring it out as I went along. I wish, I think if you are starting a business, the first thing that you should do is sit down with another business owner. What did they learn? What did they do? Because I didn't have that. I learned like my licensing, the insurance aspects, the tax aspects on after the fact. Hey, Ray, you owe us $25,000 in taxes this year. I'm like, for what? And it's like, well, you were doing self-employment tax. And I was like, I wish I would have known that. So.
Yeah. Well, And I think that to the new business owners starting out, obviously, I would say hire trusted advisors as quickly as you can who can teach you that kind of stuff. Because I think when things are tight in the beginning, which they all are, for all of us, we try to do everything ourselves, and then we do things wrong.
Yeah, that was me.
Sure.
I've seen it. I mean, taxes is the scariest thing, I think. It's just one of those, like, because then you get hit, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
They don't forget either.
Yeah, no, they don't. They just keep sending that bill.
Right.
The only thing that worked out was I found a decent accountant that figured it out over the last
awesome.
couple of years. But I mean, that was first year in business. That was scary because I didn't have $25,000 sitting in the bank. I had like $2,000.
Oh yeah.
I was like, where am I supposed to come up with that?
Well, and that's why I love about what we do is helping people with some of those areas and bringing in our partners. Like today, this afternoon, I'm going to be speaking to one of my clients is a teacher in Colorado, so I'm going to talk to his class. About the importance of investing.
Like a high school teacher or college teacher?
High school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Important. It really is. Because, I mean, especially our generation, we didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I didn't get any of that stuff.
I wish they would have taught, like, credit score and all that good stuff.
Yeah, something.
In
I know.
school.
Yeah, they teach you how to, like, draw
they teach you
a
about
triangle
George Washington
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
even as a carpenter, like, I didn't learn anything from math or whatever, and I was just like,
sure,
it just didn't make sense. So it's definitely something that even with kids now, I'm thinking about that, putting them in school, what they're going to learn. I'm really leaning towards that homeschool situation, just to teach them stuff that's valuable,
for sure.
Finances. I wish I knew about credit score. My parents didn't know anything about credit. They put stuff in my name.
Me too.
That's how they won, you know.
Sure. Me too.
Sure. So I came out losing already. And then,
I'm like, how did I have a charter bill when I was 4 years old? What's going on here?
Dude, I had like a Cablevision account, $400. Like my first apartment, I called to try and get cable on. They're like, "Sir, you owe us this much." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, and there's so many cool things you can do if you're a business owner for your kids too.
Yeah.
Like there's so many cool things
Put
you
them
can
on
do if you know
payroll.
how it works. Yeah. Set them up for benefits, different things like that. There's cool things you can do.
Yeah, and that's why I think you'll see a lot of business, especially a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast will reach out to you because there's certain things that you've taught me and even just shown me or explained to me that it's amazing that you can even do that. So.
They say that is it true? Am I wrong that they say that the financial industry is the number one wealth producer as far as industries go?
Yeah,
I think second's real estate.
Is it? Probably.
I would say so.
Oh yeah, real estate's up there for sure.
I've definitely heard a lot of people say that, and I mean, when I just look at even like the people who are W-2 jobs, like we call them wholesalers or vendors, like for y'all in the trades industry, they have a substantial salary even and things like that. So it's when you're dealing with money and important things, obviously, you are compensated well.
Yeah.
So.
Is it? Do you feel like it's misconstrued and made to believe like everybody in the financial industry is making that kind of money? And what does it, from your experience, what does it really take to be, like crushing it in the financial industry?
Sure, great question. So people, definitely not everybody. It's just like every industry where a lot of you got a small percentage of people that are doing very, very well. I think it's more competitive too because of that. So you have to be good and you really have to have solid relationships with people and educate them if you're going to be successful. Because a lot of financial people, they're really just salespeople with a license. They're trying to sell you this and that product and everything like that versus trying to get to know you and your situation and what is best for you.
Yeah. I think what I really liked about you and like really why I started leaning towards you on signing up with you through like 401k and stuff is because you're not pushy. Like that pushy aspect, like you'll touch on it a little bit, like you'll hit me up or whatever, like, hey, just what's going on, man? How you doing? Whatever. And I like that you're not like super pushy, like, hey, Chris, we need to get you on the fucking 401k right fucking now. And I really enjoy that because that's like the biggest turnoff to me is somebody that like calls me every 5 seconds, like even though I've said I need a minute, I'm thinking. And then they just keep pushing. Like it makes me really think about what their intent is. Like, are you really just trying to get me signed up, so you can start collecting paychecks? And I didn't feel like that with you at all. But I think that's huge. Is like knowing how to you still have to be a good salesperson. Like you still have to like try and initiate a little bit, but you have to know your boundaries. Like there's fine lines, like you just don't cross. And I think you've mastered that kind of.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And I think timing's everything in my industry. It's like, it'd be like if you were pushing somebody who doesn't want to sell their house, that doesn't want to move all the time. Like people are kind of desperate or they're doing that. It's like, I'm like, hey, I know people will hit me up if I did a good job of building a relationship when they're ready.
Sure.
Difficult moments that you're either dealing with or have dealt with in the last 9 years or in the last year of being here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I definitely have had my fair share if we want to stay here all morning. So, yeah, I mean, I just think about like definitely just been, just because I have a big heart and I'm trusting of people. Once again, I've gotten screwed many times by people. So it's like I'll never forget when I invested so much time into this agent. Got her into our networking group before we kind of moved and everything like that. Had her on webinars. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. so I could speak at her networking group to help her, pour into her, was all there for her through thick and thin and everything like that. Would drive really far to help her with clients and everything like that. Then she ghosted me for 5 months, and because she ghosted me because she was starting a different company, to compete with us. Like didn't text me. Didn't call me, didn't email me, but used our relationships to get into networking groups and stuff like that. And then, so it's...
I got a million of those.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So I've had plenty of stories like that, just, people being greedy or shady.
So how does that change you, though, as a person? Because, I mean, do you stick with your routine or do you, become cold and heartless?
I mean, you can't. So, I mean, I would if I could, but yeah, you can't. You got to, like I said earlier in the podcast, is you got to pretend like it didn't happen to you and start with the clean slate, because otherwise I'm not going to give my new people 100%, because I'm going to be thinking, oh, well, what if they do what was done to me, and what if they burn me again? Yes, we've gotten smarter and we've put in more systems in place.
NDAs and all that good stuff.
But
non-competes and stuff.
Yeah, but still, it's like, and it's going to happen again. The bigger the business gets, the more people issues are going to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. The way so I struggled with that for a long time, but the way I look at it is at least I set the standard high, so I know whoever branches off of me, they're going to have to set that same standard. Or they're going to have to go higher. Sure. So really, all in all I'm doing is just helping the community. So that's the way I kind of took it and looked at it. And it really helped me deal and get through that time, where I was really struggling mentally and kind of pissed off at the world and wanted to slap somebody.
Yeah, it's tough.
But it really made me breathe and recenter. I'm like, hey man, you set a good standard. They're gonna have to meet this standard if they're gonna beat me, which they're not, because I'll outwork anybody, or they're gonna have to go above me. So all in all, everybody wins in the community. And, law of abundance, there's plenty for everybody.
The fact that you influence somebody like that, too, is pretty heartwarming. Somebody that looks to you and says, look how he's doing, I need to kind of do that. Yeah. I mean, it sucks because you kind of take it for building somebody and spending the time and money on them. Yeah. But then you can think about it in that regard. I've had that a couple of times, and one recent that actually... He worked for me for a little while, quit, started his own company, did rather well, and now he had to sell everything and get out of it, and he's coming to work for me. So that kind of made me feel confident. It's like now I've got this new guy that's going to leave and start his own thing. Like the only thing I can do, as much as it pisses me off, is try to build him, help him. Help him. What can I? The things that we just mentioned. Hey, bro, get off self-employment tax. He'll, just to help, and hopefully it'll come back around for me. It's like, don't get cold, keep the warm heart, because it translates through who you are. And as long as you stay who you are, nothing else matters, really.
Absolutely. For sure. True.
Don't lose who you are.
Very true. Well, thanks, John, for being on today.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
If somebody's looking for you, how can they find you?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. So yeah, my phone number is 720-341-9787, or you can find me on social media or email me. I've got a virtual business card where people can find it on all of my social medias and reach out to me via email or smoke signals or whatever you want to do. So.
Well, we'll attach that. If you send me that virtual card, I'll attach it when we post this podcast as well.
Sweet.
In any place I can. I think YouTube I probably could, and Facebook I probably could. So
I'll do that. Thank you. Appreciate that,
cool.
Guys.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thanks, John.
You too.